Chapter 1. My name is Aroha, and my life hasn't always been this eventful, I swear. Growing up on a farm that backs onto the national park in the countryside, I led an everyday life with my parents and older brother. My mom and dad passed away a couple of years ago when I was 16. I just turned 18 last month and celebrated it with my older brother Kirk, who's 32. I was 100% the accident in the family and the only person in this world that I'm close to. He moved out a couple of years back to move up into the mountains, but visits when he can. I'm lucky enough to have been left a decent inheritance from my parents and the farm, which I've kept running cattle and sheep on to keep an income coming in. I love to escape into the forests and explore. It was late one night when I decided to venture into the hills and visit my favorite clearing while the moon was full. It took me a good 30 minutes, using only the light from the moon, to hike to an area I'd come to see as my retreat. With a large pond on one side that I've filled with fish over the years with my dad and wildflowers growing wild, it was my own personal haven. A place I went to remember all the good times I spent here with my family over the years, when my parents were still around. I entered the clearing and found a comfy spot to lie beside the pond in the masses of wildflowers. I underestimated how tired I was from my hike up the hills and drifted off to sleep while stargazing. As I lay there, I was oblivious to the danger lurking in the forest, watching me patiently. I came awake with a start, cursing myself for falling asleep out in the open like that. Rookie mistake. As I prepare myself for the hike back down, I can't shake the feeling that someone or something is watching me. I crouch, pretending to fix my shoes while scanning the forest through my hair, hiding my intent from anyone or anything watching me. I sense a presence with me in the glade and ready myself to run. Whoever's there, show yourself. He steps from the shadows like a ghost, barely making a sound. Fear not, I mean you no harm. My name is Sebastian. Startling me, I turn around and can't help but stare at this man on the other side of the pond and his sudden appearance. I rake my eyes over him. Never before have you seen such a prime example of the perfect man? From his long legs and lean torso that tapered out into those two-diaper shoulders that you see on rugby players. And the muscles, my God, the muscles. I had to resist the urge to start fanning myself in front of him. Still not 100% that I didn't. But it was the moment that I looked into his eyes, those cobalt blue eyes that couldn't belong to any human, that my life would change forever. I knew I was done for. The instantaneous spark that appeared as soon as we locked eyes was pulling me to him, something I would never be able to deny. All I wanted to do was run into the arms of this stranger and run my hands through his golden locks while I did anything possible to make him mine. I knew at that moment exactly what he was and what he was to me. A shapeshifter and my mate. Chapter 2. Aroha's POV. We just stand there gazing into each other's eyes for what feels like an eternity before I finally snap out of my shock. I mentally scold myself. You're an idiot, Aroha. You should have already made a break for it, not stayed ogling the stranger like he was a piece of meat. Him? But what a handsome. Wait. No, down girl. Stop acting like a love-struck fool and pull yourself together. Breathe deep breaths, keep your cool, and we can get out of here without any issues. He must have sensed my inner conflict as he backed away a few steps with his hand raised in front of him. I'm sorry for startling you. I saw you while I was out for a walk and couldn't help but introduce myself when I saw you. Also, I didn't think it was wise for someone as beautiful as you to be asleep out in the open like that while anyone could chance upon you, some of whom may not be as nice as myself. As I said, my name is Sebastian. The whole time he spoke, I can only guess that I looked like a fish out of water with my mouth hanging open. Even his voice was charming, and I'd be happy to just stand here listening to him talk. Wait a minute. Did he just call me beautiful? And what was the question again? What? He chuckles at my inability to hide that I was distracted by checking him out. I said my name is Sebastian, and you are? Oh, right, Aroha? Well, Aroha, is that your actual name, or was that a last-second choice? I straightened my back to try to look confident when I was anything but. Aroha. My name is Aroha. Well, Aroha, it's a pleasure to meet you, but may I ask, what are you doing out all by yourself? It's not safe for someone such as yourself in these mountains all alone at night. He pulled himself up quickly, but I caught his slip-up, knowing he was about to say, my kind. Since shifters were rarely seen outside of their packs and seldom interacted with humans unless absolutely necessary, it was obvious he assumed I knew nothing about them and didn't want to tell me what he was. Okay, well, I'll play along for now and pretend to be ignorant of his heritage. If by someone such as yourself you mean a girl, then I'll have you know I've been coming here for years by myself without any issue, so I doubt I will stop now just because some man I've never met before told me it's not safe. While we're on that subject, why are you out here? He's smiling now, clearly amused by my attempt to stand up to him. I meant no disrespect, Aroha, but these mountains aren't safe right now. I suggest you stay clear for a while. And why are these mountains no longer safe? I can't explain it to you, but just trust that you shouldn't return here for a while. I'd suggest you head back to your home now. Is this guy for real? My apologies, Your Highness, but you don't have any say in what I do and don't do. So, if I want to return here, I will. Nothing I say will change your mind, will it? Nope. And with that, I turn and walk away. But not before catching a muttered "damn" leave Sebastian's mouth, no doubt thinking I wouldn't hear it. I have every intention of returning in the hopes of seeing Sebastian again. I wonder how long it will take him to tell me he's a shifter. This might turn out to be fun. Sebastian's POV ***. I've been living in these mountains for a little over a month now. I moved from interstate to become beta in the Dire Pack as they had no beta family. The Dire Pack, if legends are anything to go by, was once run by dire wolves. Mighty warriors whose wolves were meant to be at least 5 times the size of an alpha wolf, able to withstand near-killing blows and fight like nothing happened to them and heal nearly instantly, shy of ripping their hearts out or taking off their heads. They were meant to be near invincible. No one knows what happened to cause these legendary wolves to disappear. The legends say the goddess sent the dire wolves to protect the packs, but they became corrupted by power. The goddess then changed them into normal wolves to live out their days. All that is but one family. This family had not let power corrupt them, so the goddess changed them into normal werewolves so they would not become hunted for being the only dire wolves. Rumors say that those last dire wolves still have the dire wolf gene running through their blood, so that one day, when the goddess deems it time, dire wolves will once again walk the earth. But I'm not too convinced that dire wolves ever existed. The last recorded sighting of one was in this very pack well over 500 years ago. As far as I'm concerned, unless I see undeniable evidence, they are just silly legends. The one thing that makes this pack stand out is that it's full of mixed shifters. The alpha is a werewolf, while the rest of the pack is made up of mainly wolves and bears, but also a few of the rarer species like tigers and panthers. In the month I've been here, I've been exploring the territory on nightly runs to get to know the layout. It was on one of these runs, while exploring a new area, that I picked up the most amazing scent. It smelled of wildflowers and drove my inner animal crazy with need. Following the trail, I came across a clearing filled with wildflowers and a small pond. I became disheartened, thinking it was just the flowers I smelled until I sensed a heartbeat. Stalking through the bushes on the edge of the clearing, I saw the most beautiful girl I've ever seen asleep amongst the flowers. Suddenly aware of my presence, she stirs and crouches, causing her hair to cover her eyes to hide the fact that she's searching the bushes. Our mate is smart, my tiger Trey says in my head. Wait, what do you mean mate? She can't be our mate. She's human. I can't have a human as a mate. Well, why the hell not, Sebastian? I want her, you want her, seems fine to me. No, Trey, it's not fine. I refuse to take a defenseless human as my mate. As beta, I need a strong female to lead with me. Trey is roaring in my head and snarling at me as I push him back and silence him. I take the time to watch my mate, from her auburn hair that cascades down her back to her curves in all the right places. I wonder why the hell she couldn't have been a shifter, if only she weren't human. I was about to turn and leave when her voice captured my attention. Whoever's there, show yourself. Try as I might to walk away, I can't. The mate bond is pulling me to her, and before I know it, I'm stepping from the shadows and words flow from my mouth before I can stop them. Fear not, I mean you no harm. My name is Sebastian. She seems almost as shocked as I am as we stare at each other without saying a word. I can't believe the perfect person created just for me is standing right in front of me, and I can't have her as my mate, the dread of rejecting her setting in. Maybe if I can get her not to come back, I will be able to ignore the pull of the mate bond as long as we don't go near each other. You're an idiot if you think, not now, Trey. And I push him back, silencing him. I'm sorry for startling you. I saw you while I was out for a walk and couldn't help but introduce myself when I saw you. Also, I didn't think it was wise for someone as beautiful as you to be asleep out in the open like that while anyone could chance upon you, some of whom may not be as nice as myself. Like I said, my name is Sebastian. Shit, why did I call her beautiful? She almost seems as surprised as I am. W what? So caught up in checking me out, she is stopped by my words. I chuckle at her innocence as she blushes. I said my name is Sebastian, and you are? Oh, right, Aroha? Such a beautiful name for a beautiful mate. Trey, I told you before, shut it. Fine, I'm shutting it. I'll just sit back and watch while you ruin our lives. Stupid, annoying animal. Well, Aroha, is that your actual name, or was that a last-second choice? Wait, why am I joking with her? She straightens her back in an attempt to look confident. Aroha. My name is Aroha. Well, Aroha, it's a pleasure to meet you, but may I ask, what are you doing out all by yourself? It's not safe for someone like you in these mountains all alone at night. Shit, I nearly said kind. I can't let her know what I am. Her following words surprised me. Being a beta, only the alpha tells me off. If by someone such as yourself you mean a girl, then I'll have you know I've been coming here for years by myself without any issue, so I doubt I will stop now just because some man I've never met before told me it's not safe. While we're on that subject, why are you out here? Shit, she's feisty. Why do I have to find that so damn sexy? Well, I guess getting her to stay away is out of the question. I meant no disrespect, Aroha, but these mountains aren't safe right now. I suggest you stay clear for a while. And why are these mountains no longer safe? Fuck. I can't tell her that a war is about to start with the Pax. I can't explain it to you, but just trust me that you shouldn't return here for a while. I'd suggest you head back to your home now. My apologies, Your Highness, but you don't have any say in what I do and don't do. So, if I want to return here, I will. Nothing I say will change your mind, will it? Nope. And with that, she turns and walks away. Damn, I mutter under my breath, too soft for any human to hear. Try as I might, I can't help but shift and follow her in the shadows. I need to make sure she doesn't go too close to the Pax land. You keep telling yourself that. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact you want to make sure she gets home safe and sound, 'cause you want her. I hate it when you're right, Trey. I can hear his laughter in my head. Staying away is going to be more complicated than I thought. Chapter 3, Sebastian's POV. I've been silently following Aroha for a good 30 minutes through the trees before we reach the edge of the forest, and I see a house not far from the tree line. I can tell this is her house, judging by how strong her scent is here. I notice that I can't see any other houses at all. I don't feel comfortable knowing she is out here all alone. She wouldn't be all alone if we move in and... Shut up, Trey. Not happening. You say that now. I can't wait to say I told you so. There will be no I told you so's coming out of you. If there is, I may just be forced to kill myself. You would never let me hear the end of it, you silly tiger. You know me so well, my friend. I hear Trey's laughter as he recedes to the back of my mind. Why did I have to be stuck with a smartass for a tiger? I turn my attention back to Aroha to see that she's approaching her door. I can't believe how drawn to her I am. I'm finding I need to concentrate very hard on making sure I don't leave the cover of the trees and take her where she stands. I need to find a way to control these urges till I find a way to keep her away from the packlands. Hopefully, the distance will weaken the bond. Knowing she was safe, I was about to leave when she suddenly turned and looked directly at where I was hiding in the shadows. Not concerned, knowing there was no way she knew I had followed her, her subsequent actions shocked me to the core. Bye, Sebastian. I'll see you tomorrow night. And with that, she blew a kiss and shut the door. What the actual fuck? There's no way she could have known I was here. Well, apparently she did. Maybe you're getting sloppy, old man. Really, Trey? And how old is your spirit? Nothing to say to that, you hypocritical tiger? I must have been distracted by you and accidentally made too much noise. Yes, that must be it. You keep telling yourself that, Sebastian. Maybe she could tell you were there. Impossible. She's human. So stop with the nonsense. As I walk away, I can't help but wonder how the hell she could have known I was following her. And what did she mean by tomorrow night? She can't seriously be thinking about going back to the clearing. Who in their right mind would go back in the middle of the night for the slim chance of seeing some random guy she met in the forest? Sounds like the makings of a good horror movie to me. Not funny, Trey. I assume you're going to try to convince me you're only going back tomorrow night to make sure she's okay, not because you want her. That's exactly why I'm coming back. She can never be my mate. Aroha's POV, I don't think I've ever been this happy. I'm almost skipping my way home. I can sense Sebastian following me, probably completely unaware that I can tell he's there. I'm resisting the urge to turn around and run straight up to his tiger and marvel at its beauty, but I need to keep up appearances. Sebastian may be my mate, but whether he can be trusted is another thing altogether. When I get to my house, I decide to play a little game with him. Turning around, I yell out to him, "Bye, Sebastian. I'll see you tomorrow night." And with that, I turn and shut the door. Goddess, I wish I could see his face right now. No doubt he would have a gobsmacked look of complete and utter shock. He should learn never to underestimate someone's abilities. I head to my bedroom and stop by my dresser when my eyes fall upon a picture of me and my parents. You were right, Mom. The goddess sure as hell chose me. One hunk of a mate. I speak out loud. I collapse on my bed and begin contemplating the fact that he didn't want me to know he's a shifter. Maybe it was because we just met. Oh well, I'm sure the more time we spend together, he will tell me, and when he does, I'll know that he trusts me completely, and when that happens, I'll finally be able to share my secrets with him. Chapter 4, Aroha's POV. I returned to the clearing in the forest to find Sebastian waiting for me. He was waiting on a blanket on the grass and had a picnic basket beside him. As he saw me approach, he flashed me a panty-dropping smile. "I thought you would never get here," he said as he stood to embrace me in his arms, resting his head on top of mine due to his height advantage. Content in his arms, I'm momentarily disappointed when he steps away from me, only to bring me down onto the blanket with him so that I'm leaning back against his chest. With one arm around my waist, he constantly offers me an assortment of foods as we enjoy each other's company. Once we've both eaten our fill, we end up snuggled in each other's arms, content to just be with one another, not needing to utter a word. Eventually drifting off to sleep, I'm slightly confused when I wake and I'm covered in a blanket, but as my mind starts to clear, I realize it's not a blanket. It feels almost hairy. And is something breathing on me? Nervous as to what I might find when I open my eyes, I decided to take a small peek, only to come face to face with a giant tiger. I wake almost instantly, scooting back on the picnic blanket, gasping for breath, never losing eye contact with the animal in front of me. I start to take in its beauty, all the while making sure it didn't suddenly decide I was some juicy morsel to sink its teeth into when I suddenly notice its eyes. Cobalt blue eyes. Sebastian. It's barely a whisper when it leaves my mouth, but the tiger hears it clearly. Standing, he slowly advances till we are once more face to face. He cautiously edges close till I can feel his whiskers brushing my face. I don't think I could move if I wanted to, and tingling starts shooting through my body as he begins to lower his head to my shoulder and lean into me. My hands seem to have a mind of their own as I suddenly realize that they are now caressing the head of the tiger, whom I believe is Sebastian. The tiger suddenly starts to change, and within seconds, I'm in Sebastian's arms. I'm in awe of his trust in me to allow me to see him in his other forms. Suddenly, I look down to realize I'm cuddling a very naked Sebastian and instantly avert my eyes upwards, only to have them drop down again within seconds. I mean, a little peek won't hurt, will it? Actually, considering the size of his little friend, that may actually hurt. I'm brought out of my daydreaming by a deep chuckle. I thought women were meant to say my eyes are up here, not men. Oh shit. He caught me staring at his package like an idiot. If the ground could open up and swallow me not, that would be great. I'm unable to process words while still keeping eye contact with Sebastian Jr. He pushes me back onto the blanket and leans over my body, caging me in. You know, I can tell you exactly what you are, Roja. And what's that? Mine. And the next thing I know, I'm screaming out in ecstasy as a set of fangs pierce my neck. Sebastian's POV. I've been waiting in the clearing for a while now and was getting worried that Aroha wasn't going to come. Well, that might have something to do with the fact you got here. How many hours early? You could hear crickets while I just kept ignoring Trey. Your silence confirmed my statement. Not now, Trey. Distracted by my Tigre's presence, I didn't notice her till the last minute. I couldn't help it when I jumped to my feet and engulfed her in my arms. She was the perfect height so that I could rest my head on top of hers. Taking her hands, I lead her to sit down on the blanket and shuffle until she is leaning back into my chest. I can't help but have a strong urge to touch her, so I keep one arm wrapped around her waist while we eat together. When we lay down together afterwards, I feel entirely at peace. This may have been the reason why, sometime later, I awake to find myself in my tiger form. As I prepare to shift back before Aroha wakes up, I see her slightly open her eyes, and the next thing I know, she's suddenly on the other side of the blanket, looking at me with shock. She moved so quickly she could have rivaled a shifter's speed at that moment. I felt as if my body was on autopilot, and I had no control over it as I walked towards her till my head was nuzzling her neck and taking in her scent. As she realizes that it's me, I shift back, uncaring of my naked state. Aroha, apparently not noticing, looked down at my body till she came to my crown jewels. I'm assuming she's quite impressed if her inability to look away is anything to go by. Chuckling, I can't help but tease her. I thought women were meant to say my eyes are up here, not men. As I see her stuttering from the embarrassment of being caught, I feel my body being taken over, unable to stop what's happening. Next thing I know, I've trapped her underneath me and told her exactly what she was as I sunk my teeth into her neck. Mine. Chapter 5. Third-person POV. Aroha and Sebastian both awoke, gasping for breath and frantically searching their surroundings to find themselves surrounded by 4 walls and not the openness of the clearing they were both expecting. Almost simultaneously, they uttered the exact words. Shit. It was just a dream. Aroha's POV. As I come to the realization that I'm still alone in my own bed. I can't believe I dreamt that. It felt so real, as if I could actually feel the mate bond in my dreams. Maybe it wasn't just a dream? Perhaps it's a sign of what's to come? Or maybe because our mates were reaching out to each other through the bond, even in our dreams. Whichever the case, I don't care. This gives me hope that it won't take long for Sebastian to trust me with who he is so we can be together. I really hope that he's a tiger shifter like in my dreams, as he was just so beautiful. Even though it would be quite astounding for him to be a tiger, there are very few tiger shifters left in the world, as at one time they were hunted to near extinction. Either way, I will love him for who he is. He was made for me, and I'll accept him for who he is. Sebastian's POV. What the hell just happened? What do you think happened, numbskull? You saw how beautiful it would be to mark our mate as ours. Trey, I've already told you that isn't happening. This just proves I need to keep away from her until the mate bond fades. I can't be trusted around her if I'm dreaming like this after one damn encounter. We were just showing you both how great it could be and to help you out so you realize you are making a mistake. There's no we in this, Trey. It's just you. Well, not exactly. Having had enough of this, I cut him off. This isn't up for discussion, Trey. I didn't want to have to do this, but if I don't hold out long enough to allow the mate bond to fade, I'm just going to have to reject her. She implied that she would be back to visit the clearing tonight. Best to get this over with as soon as possible. Tonight, I reject mate. Chapter 6, Aroha's POV. I spend my day trying to keep myself occupied until it's time for me to head to the clearing. I check the clock again to find it's only 2 minutes since I last checked. I groan in frustration and collapse onto the bed in annoyance. I'm just so excited that the wait is killing me. I decided not to do myself up for tonight. I prefer a more natural look rather than getting dressed up and putting on makeup, and anyway, as my mate, he's going to love me for who I am. I can't help but take another peek at the clock. Oh God, it's only been 5 minutes. Kill me now. Sebastian's POV. After that damn dream, I spent the rest of last night tossing and turning, unable to get back to sleep. So now here I am, a grumpy, sleep-deprived tiger wanting to snap at anyone who talks to me. Hopefully, I can make it through the day while interacting with others. Sebastian, I require you in my office as soon as possible. I hear come through the mind link from Alpha Black. Well, there goes that idea, I mutter. Let's just hope I don't piss him off with my attitude today. I walk through the Alpha's office door 10 minutes later. Sebastian, thank you for coming. We have a few things we need to discuss. The Alpha greets me with an unusually happy demeanor. How can I help you, Alpha? Well, to begin with, I would just like to congratulate you. A lot of other shifters here would kill to be in your shoes. I barely manage to get out an before I'm cut off as the Alpha continues. I know we have a lot going on at the moment with the threat of war with the rogues still a real possibility right now, but I'm sure we can try to free up some time for you to make preparations for the ceremony and have some time to organize the move. Wait, Alpha, what are you talking about? I look at him with utter confusion, having no clue what he's talking about. Unfazed by my interruption, he continues. Now, don't be coy, Sebastian. I know you found your mate last night, so appropriate arrangements need to be made. You will be much stronger going into this war with your mate by your side. Now, how long until we can meet the lucky lady and introduce her to the pack? My next words knocked the smile off his face. You won't. What do you mean I won't? Exactly that, Alpha. You won't be meeting her, and she won't be getting introduced to the pack as my mate. And may I ask why? He snarls back at me. Because she's human. And what's your point, Sebastian? So she's human, she's your other half. Her being human shouldn't make any difference. It makes a huge difference. I refuse to have a weak mate that I'll constantly have to worry about whether she is safe or not. Having a human as a mate would just be a hindrance. Dare I ask what your intentions are then if you don't plan on accepting your mate? I have no choice but to reject her and sever the bond. If it remains in place, I will be tempted to change my mind. Snarling draws my attention back to Alpha Black. He's glaring at me with pitch black eyes, showing his wolf is in control right now, and he looks close to shifting. I'm not quite sure why he's so angry, but I'm starting to get a little nervous here. I mean, I thought he would be completely on board with my choice not to take a human as my mate. I dare not speak as I see him taking deep breaths to calm down his wolf. After a few minutes, I see the blackness leave his eyes, meaning his human side is now back in control. I suggest you listen to my next words very carefully, Sebastian. Think long and hard about rejecting your mate. Rejection is not something you can take back easily once you realize that you were wrong. Now I need you to leave for a while to attend to something, so as my beta, you're in charge till I return. I stand to leave and am halfway out the door when my alpha gives me one last warning. Don't ignore my warning, Sebastian. Think long and hard about whether rejection is the right decision, and I hope for your sake that you wake up to yourself and change your mind. I nod my head to acknowledge his warning, and as I close the door, I stop dead in my tracks when I hear him mutter under his breath, barely able to hear it through the door, even with my shifter hearing. But I could almost swear he said, Aroha's been through enough already. No, he couldn't have. There was no way he could know who my mate was. I'm just imagining things in my sleep-deprived state. Well, I guess I'd better get my jobs done so I can go deal with this bloody mate of mine tonight. Alpha Black's POV as Alpha, I have a special connection with my pack. Last night, I could sense one of them making a connection with their mate. Being one of the strongest alphas, I was able to see through Sebastian's eyes for a few seconds, not long enough for him to notice, to see that his newfound mate was none other than Aroha. It filled my heart with joy to know that she found such a deserving mate. Sebastian has been an astounding beta since he joined the pack, and I always thought he was a smart man. That opinion changed the more he spoke about his plans to reject his mate. I was barely able to control my wolf, wanting to rip to shreds the man before us, saying he was going to hurt the woman we both loved. I decided on the spot to put Sebastian in charge for the day and go see Aroha, as it had been a while since I last visited her. I've been so busy with the impending war that I haven't made time for her. When Sebastian was leaving my office, I couldn't help but mutter in disgust. Aroha's been through enough already. She's already had to deal with so much. Sebastian doesn't deserve her. Chapter 7 Alpha Black's POV. After finishing up some paperwork that needed my attention before I could leave, I headed out of my office, down the stairs, and out the front door of the pack house. I was walking across the front yard, about to enter the trees and head to see Aroha, when one of my patrols initiated a mind link. Alpha. A group of Rouges are waiting on the edge of the western border. I shift into my black wolf and head to the western border while getting more information. What do you mean waiting? Alpha, a group of 5 Rouges approached our borders, but stopped before they crossed our pack lines. One is definitely an alpha, another seems to be his beta, and the other 3 are warriors. This confuses me as whenever we encounter Rouges, they have always attacked us, not waited on our borders. Are you sure it's not a trap? Maybe they have more wolves waiting back further. Can you smell any other wolves? Negative Alpha. One of my men is in a hide-up in a tree out past the pack territory and only saw the 5 wolves approach. The wind is also blowing our way, so there's no way we wouldn't be able to smell them. Thank you, officer. I'm currently 5 minutes out from your location. Stay back from the Rouges and keep your eyes on them till I get there. Yes, Alpha. I close the mind link and increase my pace towards the area where the Rouges are. As I approach the border, Sebastian joins me in his tiger form. I hear we have Rouges Alpha. What's the plan? We're going to see if we can find out what they're doing here. There are only 5 of them, and we currently have 8 patrol officers watching them, so we have them outnumbered if they decide to attack. Just leave the talking to me. Yes, Alpha. Sebastian falls into step beside me, and we reach the border together, shifting into our human forms. I assess the Rouges, seeing that my officer was correct. It's definitely an alpha with his beta and top warriors judging by the power radiating off them. I'll remain in their wolf form as they watch us. Still not as powerful as me, though, and not anyone I recognize. State your business, Rouge. Why have you come to our territory? I watch as the alpha shifts into his human form. He looks to be in his early 20s with jet black hair, is covered in tattoos and scars, and like any alpha, boasts defined muscles. Alpha Black, what a pleasure it is to finally meet you. I am Alpha Liam, Alpha of the Rouges. And as for my reason for being here, I think you already know the answer to that, don't you? My pack turns to look at me with confusion. By your pack mates' reactions, it seems you haven't told them your secrets. TSK, TSK, TSK. I shall give you one chance, Black. I have some business I need to attend to overseas that will unfortunately keep me busy for a couple of months. So I shall return here in 3 months, at which time you will hand her over to me, or I will make you watch as I kill every single one of your pack members, and then I will take her as mine. The choice is yours. See you in 3 months. And with that, he changed back to his wolf and left with his pack. I stood there staring daggers at the spot Liam had been standing. It wasn't until I heard Sebastian calling my name and shaking my shoulder that I snapped out of my trance. I realized I hadn't even noticed my hands were bleeding due to my claws having extended while I was clenching my fists during Liam's speech. Retracting my claws, my hands heal almost instantly as I turn to Sebastian. Alpha, what did he mean by your keeping secrets? And who is this female that he wants? Is she part of our pack? Sebastian is now the only one remaining with me, and I know the other have made sure they are well out of earshot. The secrets he speaks of are not something that can be talked about right now, but when the time is right, the pack will be told. And no, the female he wants is not part of our pack. Well, do you know where this female is that he wants? Sebastian looks deep in thought, and I'm not sure I'm going to like what he's thinking. Yes, Sebastian, I know who he wants and where she is. Well, this seems simple. Then, Alpha, if she's not a part of the pack, then we should hand her over. The safety of the pack comes first, and if she isn't a part of our pack, we don't owe her protection. His relaxed attitude to the situation and suggestion we give them what they wanted infuriated me beyond belief. I felt a wolf take over and watched as Sebastian took a couple of steps away. My eyes turned black, showing my wolf was in control. My wolf began growling and pushing out waves of power, enough that any normal pack member would be forced to their knees. If I ever hear you suggest such a thing, I will strip you of your position in this pack. Just because someone is not a part of this pack does not mean you can just send them like a lamb to slaughter. Do I make myself clear? Yes, Alpha. Sebastian nods and quickly takes his leave, most likely worried about my wolf doing something while in control. I will admit my wolf is quite a beast, and I've been told it scares most people. Looking down at my watch, I see it is already mid-afternoon, meaning I won't have time to go see Aroha today. Seems I'll have to wait till tomorrow to see her now. Guess it gives me some time to think about this Liam situation. I turn and head back to the pack house. Sebastian's POV, I watch the Alpha's eyes turn black as he starts pushing his power out. The intensity of it causes my knees to buckle slightly, but I manage to remain standing. All I can think of while he's telling me off is who this girl is he's protecting. She must mean a lot to him. But I know he's not going to tell me until he wants to, so I'm just going to have to trust him. I nod in acknowledgement of his words and make my way home. Looking at the time, I realize that if I want to go see Aroha tonight to reject her, then I need to leave now. Adjusting course, I begin my travel toward the clearing I found her in last night. Aroha's POV, I can't contain my excitement as I make my way towards the clearing. I'm pretty much skipping most of the way there. In my excitement, I left early and reached the clearing much earlier than I had originally planned, so I sat down next to the pond and watched the fish as I waited for my mate to arrive. I can't wait to see him. Chapter 8, Sebastian's POV. By the time I arrive at the clearing, Aroha is already there, waiting by the pond, watching the stars and singing. Not aware of my arrival, I take this time to study her. I can't believe someone so beautiful was given to me as my mate. Oh, why couldn't she have been a shifter? Then, I wouldn't have to go through the hell of rejecting her. But it's for the best. Being human, she wouldn't be safe with me. I've lost everyone that I've ever loved, and to lose her too would be the end for me. I wouldn't be able to live if that happened. Sebastian, if you're so set on doing this, can you please spend some time talking and getting to know her before you reject her, so that I have some memories to look back on and remember her? Please? The longing in Trey's voice makes me feel guilty. I'm forcing him to lose his mate, too. Fine. Half an hour and then it's time to get this over with and head home. Thank you, Sebastian. I step out of the trees and make my way towards Aroha, making sure she can hear me. She turns around, smiling at me, leaving me breathless. God, she's beautiful. I knew you would come back, Sebastian. I wanted to talk to you properly. You ran away pretty quick last night. Yes, well, I was quite surprised to run into a stranger when I've been coming here for years and never seen another person. Come join me on the grass. This is your time, Trey. I'll share control with you for the next 30 minutes. Ask what you want, and then we need to get this over with. Thank you, Sebastian. For the next half hour, I stay in the back of my mind, allowing Trey to have this time with his mate, as he will be losing her too. Okay, Trey, it's time to finish up. We need to be heading back soon. I'm sorry, Sebastian. What for? For this. I feel myself being pushed back into the deepest depths of my mind and suddenly find myself locked in a silver cage. What the hell is this, Trey? Give me back control now. I'm sorry, Sebastian, but I can't allow you to reject my mate. I'll give you back control once I've put an end to this stupid plan of yours. And with that, he was gone, and I was left in darkness. Well, shit. What the hell does that tiger have planned? Chapter 9, Aroha's POV. I was starting to get nervous while I was waiting for Sebastian to arrive, but all my nerves flew out the window when I looked into his eyes. It just felt so right to be near him, and it made me feel safe. After getting him to join me on the grass, I noticed his eyes darken slightly from their usual cobalt blue. He must be allowing his animal to come through and join him to talk to me, but still holding control, as his eyes didn't turn completely black. The only time a shifter's eyes turn black is when their animal has completely taken over, more often than not leaving the human side with no recollection of what has occurred unless their animal wants them to know. It's exciting to think I'm talking to his animal as well. I can't wait to meet him and find out what kind of shifter he is. It's not like I can ask him since I'm not meant to know he's a shifter. We spend some time getting to know one another, 20 questions style. Though I admit, I keep zoning out occasionally as I get caught up in analyzing his features and dreaming of a future with him. Aroha, you're doing it again. Shit. Oh, sorry. My mind wandered elsewhere. Pretty sure I'm blushing like an idiot after being caught staring at him like a lovesick fool yet again. Sebastian chuckles at my obvious discomfort from being caught out. Oh, I don't mind. You can look as much as you want. His eyes suddenly become unfocused and change more towards their usual cobalt blue. They must be talking, and Sebastian is coming back into control. A snarl snaps me out of my thoughts as I look to see Sebastian looking down with his eyes shut. His fists are clenched by his sides to the point they are turning white from the pressure. What the hell is going on? I don't have to wonder as long as Sebastian lifts his head and looks at me with jet black eyes, eyeing me up like I'm his next meal. Holy shit, his animal has taken over. Trey's POV this time I've spent getting to know Aroha has been some of the best moments of my life. She is simply captivating, from her laugh to her smile. Her innocence shines through when I catch her getting distracted and checking me out more. God, I love it when she blushes. I can't imagine a life without her. Too bad Sebastian, the king of idiots, is so hung up on his past that he would deny himself a future. I have my suspicions that Aroha knows about shifters, as she seems very at ease with this instant attraction between us, whereas most humans would question what is going on. I need to find a way to stop this rejection. After telling Aroha she can look at me as much as she wants, Sebastian starts to take back complete control, obviously not impressed at my attempts at flirting. I'm running out of time and need to take action quickly while I still have a chance to stop this. I have an idea, but I know Sebastian is probably going to hate me for it. Oh well, he will get over it in time and forgive me once he realizes I was only doing what's best for him, hopefully. I'd rather have Sebastian pissed off at me than have to live without a mate. Without a second thought, I push Sebastian back into the depths of his mind and lock him in a silver cage, ensuring he won't get control back until I want him to. I shut him out completely so he won't be aware of what I'm doing. I look over to see Aroha looking a little nervous, so I slowly shuffle closer to her till the point we're almost touching. I note how she slowly relaxes, and I take that as my cue to proceed with my plan. Now sitting side by side, I wrap my arm around her waist and gently pull her into my side. Without any resistance, she leans into my chest, allowing me to lean my head into the crook of her neck and inhale her mouth-watering scent. She smells like freshly baked brownies and definitely smells good enough to eat. What surprises me is when Aroha does the same and seems to be sniffing me. Interesting. I brush her hair off her shoulder, allowing me clear access to her neck. I gently run my lips along her neck, gauging her reaction, and judging by the soft sound that leaves her lips, no complaints are coming. I start laying tender kisses along her neck, loving the way she moves her body closer to mine. I deepen the kisses and begin showing her my affection with each gentle touch, careful to respect her boundaries. When I feel she's ready, I gently lean in to show her my intentions, but just before I could proceed further, I stop myself, giving her the space she needs. Surprise, Sebastian. Chapter 10. Sebastian's POV. I come back into control and am shocked to find myself so close to Aroha. The intense emotions running through me are overwhelming, yet at the same time, I'm filled with panic. I'm frozen solid, trying to figure out what to do, still feeling the connection between us, as if it has already deepened. What the hell, Trey? You took control to mark her without me being able to stop you. How could you? If you couldn't tell, I did it quite easily. The need to bond with her completely is consuming me, but I know I need to stop before I do something I'll regret. I'd advise against that train of thought, Sebastian, unless you want to hurt her. Wait. What? What do you mean hurt her? Well, you see, Sebastian, just the slightest bond has already been formed between you. Now you're going to be driven wild with the need to be closer to her. The shock of rejecting her would be dangerous to her well-being, and I know you only want to keep her safe. You'll have no choice but to give in to the bond, and when that happens, it will be all-consuming. Good luck, Sebastian. I'll give you a couple of days tops before you can no longer resist. And with that, he shut himself off from me. Holy shit, what the hell do I do? I've got to get out of here. Realizing I'm still too close to Aroha, I quickly pull back, causing her to look at me with puzzled eyes. I stand up, and she falls off my lap with a thud. She gives me a glare, clearly not impressed. Hey, a little warning next time would be good. I stand there, clenching my fists to keep my distance. You need to leave now. My voice is stern. Shocked by my response, she gets to her feet and starts backing away slowly. Okay, I guess I'll see you around then. And with that, she walks off through the trees. Wait, why didn't she question me? Maybe she just thought something else had happened. Aroha's POV. I run home, thinking it's best to give him some space. He was obviously struggling with his emotions. Shutting the door behind me, I lean back against it. Well, that wasn't what I expected. I'd hoped for more clarity, but I guess that can wait until another day. I'm brought out of my thoughts when I hear a sudden banging at the door. Who could that be? I open the door to see a very serious-looking Sebastian, his gaze intense. Holy crap, he's so captivating. Within seconds, he stepped inside and gently pushed me against the wall, his presence overwhelming as he looked at me. His words caused my heart to race. Mine. Chapter 11. Sebastian's POV. I watched her leave the clearing, barely containing the urge to act on the overwhelming bond pulling me toward her. My thoughts were a whirl of wanting to claim her, to connect with her completely. Wait, no thinking like that. Just breathe, take a nice deep breath, and calm down. I repeat this to myself for what feels like hours, but in fact has only been minutes. The incomplete bond drove me crazy with the need to be close to her. Images swirl through my mind of the things I should be doing with Aroha right now. No doubt that damn tiger of mine is the cause of these intense thoughts. A deep chuckle in the back of my mind confirms that theory for me. Finally, I see myself claiming her, marking her, connecting with her completely. That image alone pushes me to the edge. Fine. You win, Trey. Giving up control, I follow my instincts and shift into my tiger, bolting toward Aroha to claim what's mine. 1 minute after leaving the clearing, and the next, I'm at Aroha's house. I feel like my body is on autopilot, not remembering any of the trip. Banging on her door, all I can hear is the blood rushing through my veins and my accelerated heart rate. Taking deep breaths to stop myself from losing control and doing something rash. But all bets were off the minute I locked eyes with Aroha. I don't even give her a chance to speak. Within seconds, I'm in the door and have Aroha against the nearest wall. My hands grip her waist to hold her in place while I nuzzle her neck and savor her sweet scent, trying to take my time and not overwhelm her. A soft gasp leaves her lips, and my control slips even more. I imagine the sounds I could have her making under me while I tried to calm myself down. Mine. Hoisting her up, she instinctively wraps her legs around my waist, her body pressing against me, and we continue to kiss, the connection between us growing stronger with each passing second. Knowing that I would surely lose control if we stayed in one place, I follow her scent through the house, exchanging tender kisses along the way until I find a bedroom. Though maybe shocked by my behavior at first, within seconds, she was kissing me back with just as much passion. Her hands roamed over my body, sending electric shocks through me, nearly bringing me to my knees with pleasure. Breaking apart, gasping for air, I gently guide her to the bed. Her surprised gasp is barely audible before I'm beside her again. I feel a tugging on my shirt and waste no time removing it. I hope you're not too attached to these clothes, sweetheart. She utters a confused, what? But I've already made short work of her shirt, removing it with care. Stopping myself, I look her in the eyes to make sure she's comfortable. Are you okay? I ask gently, hoping she's ready. I don't push any further, respecting her boundaries and allowing her to guide me with her responses. Aroha's POV***. When I woke in the morning, remembering the occurrences of the night, I was hurt to roll over and find the other side of the bed empty and cold. The only thing to confirm it happened was the ache in my body. Why would he leave after the incredible night we shared? Feeling hurt, I take a warm bath to ease the aches in my body. When the water started to turn cold, I wrapped my robe around me and went to get some coffee. On my way to the bedroom door, I saw a piece of paper on the floor that I hadn't noticed earlier. I'm sorry I had to leave you. I had to get back to work. Please don't enter the forest alone. I will be back as soon as I can. Sebastian. I must have knocked it on the floor in my sleep. I could listen to him and wait till he returns. Chapter 12 Aroha's POV 3 days. 3 days I've been waiting so far without hearing a thing from Sebastian. The urge to go into the forest and to the clearing is killing me. I've never had to stay away before, always free to come and go as I please. He asked me to stay away, though, so for now, I'm going to trust him and do as he asks. Hopefully, I won't have to wait much longer for him to return. Sebastian's POV, I can't help but remember the magical night I spent with Aroha. 3 days. 3 days since I held her in my arms and enjoyed the pleasure that is my mate, what I wouldn't do to be back there right now. Sebastian, is there something we're keeping you from? Alpha Black gives me a hard stare, breaking me out of my daydreaming. In the middle of a war meeting with 15 of the pack's most powerful wolves, it probably isn't the best place to be having inappropriate thoughts right now. Sorry, Alpha. Tilting my head to show my submission. Nodding his head in acknowledgement, Alpha Black continues with the meeting. Now, as I was saying, the rogue Alpha Liam will be returning in just under 3 months' time. I want our training increased and to make sure new recruits are given plenty of help. I don't want them to be left behind and not be ready to fight when this war comes. Ensure border patrols are being changed regularly so as not to fall into a predictable pattern. Any questions? Alpha Black scans around the table. One of the lead warriors leans forward onto the table. What did the Rouge mean by he was here for the girl? Do we know who it is he's after? Alpha Black pauses, contemplating what to say next. Yes, I know who he's after, and let's just say if he gets her, then he may as well kill us all because he will become powerful beyond control to the point of being unstoppable. I can't share all the details right now, but trust me, as your alpha, that I know what I'm doing and will do my best to ensure the pack's safety. Dismissed men. Nodding, we all stand to leave. Sebastian, stay behind, please. We have things to discuss. Yes, Alpha. Returning to my seat, I watch the others leave and wait for the door to shut before turning around to face my Alpha. Sebastian, I must ask, have you had a change of heart with your mate? I smell what I assume is her all over you today. Not exactly, Alpha. I admit I have been with her, but I refuse to complete the bond completely and won't be bringing her into the pack. I'm just spending some time with her before I stay away. Knowing I'm lying to my Alpha is hard. There's no way I can avoid completing the bond now. Trey partially marked her for me. But I don't really want to tell my Alpha I plan to visit my mate's bed occasionally to satisfy the bond, but stay away from her the rest of the time. Not sure he would really approve of that. I really do suggest you rethink your decision and make sure it's the right one for both of you. Now, in regards to the war, I want you to cover patrols past the eastern border out in neutral territory. I perk up at this. That's where Aroha lives. I want you as a first line of detection in case they come earlier than they told us. You Tiger has a much keener sense of smell than anyone else here. You never can trust a rogue. Of course, Alpha. May I ask, who is this girl they are looking for? He stays silent for a few minutes, contemplating my question. I'm starting to think she won't answer me. You've read the old legends surrounding this pack when you came to join it, I assume. Yes, Alpha, the belief that we are named the Dire Park after the dire wolves that once ruled this pack, but the mood goddess stripped all wolves of this powerful gift due to others' misuse of the gift, with the promise to one day return the gift of dire wolves when she thought the time was right. Yes, but there is some very important information that was left out of those legends for a reason. Our pack was the only one whose dire wolves didn't abuse the power they were given. Therefore, when the time was right, their descendants would be the ones to be returned the gift that should have rightfully been theirs. There would come a female wolf who would be known as the Mother of Dyers. She would not be a dire wolf, but she would be the first to carry the active dire wolf gene in centuries. Her pups would become the firstborn dire wolves in over 500 years. The problem with this is that the mother would become one of the most wanted wolves on the planet. Many wolves would kill to capture her and force her to have their pups. Pups that they could train into ruthless killing machines, executing their father's orders without being able to be stopped. They would become powerful beyond compare. Alpha Liam was here because he believes the mother's time has come. I can't believe what I'm hearing. So you're saying he's looking for some legendary female to birth him unstoppable pups that he can use to kill anyone in his path? Wait. Didn't you know who he's looking for and wouldn't hand them over? Do you mean this Mother of Dives is actually real? Is she in the pack? This shit is bloody mind-blowing. Yes, he's come for the Mother of the Dyers, and I know who she is, but she's no longer in the pack. She was sent into hiding to protect her identity. When he comes, he's going to get much more than he was expecting. Now, tell no one of this. It's not time for everyone to know yet. I suggest you spend some time with your mate before this war comes to our doorstep. You may not be able to see her when this war is all said and done. And with those parting words, he rises and leaves me in the meeting room, speechless. Never in a million years did I think he would be hiding some legendary wolf who would bring dire wolves back into this world. I'm starting to think he issued me the Eastern Neutral Lands so that I was closer to Aroha to visit her. I must have mentioned where she lived without knowing it. Well, I guess it's about time I returned to my little mate. Chapter 13, Sebastian's POV. I don't rush back to see Aroha, no matter how much I want to. I need some time to sort things out, and this walk will allow me just that. Alpha Black wants me to patrol past the eastern borders in neutral territory, as well as hinting I should spend time with my mate. I have to come up with some excuse for my leaving. Maybe I can tell her I'm going to work? Really? And what are you going to tell her you do for work? Scoffs Trey. You know things are a lot more peaceful without you putting your 2 cents in every chance you get, Trey. Now, what would be the fun in that? You would be bored out of your mind if I wasn't here to keep you on your toes, Sebastian. I must have done terrible and unforgivable things in my past life to be stuck with the likes of you in my head, Trey. Gasp. Oh, Sebastian, I think you just hurt my feelings. I couldn't resist rolling my eyes at his fake dramatics. Feelings? What feelings? You just being a drama queen for a little attention. What? No comment, Trey. Crickets chirping asterisk finally. Some peace now that damn tigers are done. Maybe if I stay with Aroha, I can use the excuse of going for a run and get in a couple of patrols during the day, and at night, I could leave when she's asleep to do a more extensive check without her being any the wiser. Yes, that might work. I'll have to make sure she doesn't ask too many questions. Shit, I must have been daydreaming for a while as before I know it, I'm leaving the cover of trees and walking towards Aroha's house. I know I didn't come back straight away, but it was only a few days. She's going to be happy to see me. I've barely raised my hand to knock before the door is wrenched open and Aroha is barreling out the door into my arms. Sebastian! She jumps into my arms, and I, not expecting this, propel us both backwards, me ending up on my back with Aroha straddling my waist and hugging me. Well, I guess she's happy to see me then. Sebastian, you're back. I was wondering when you would be. I didn't have any way to contact you. I missed you. SHHHHHH. I place a finger to her lips, silencing her little rant and causing her to stop all the moving around she had been previously doing. The little confused pout she gives me is just adorable. I can't help but chuckle, causing the pout to become a frown quickly. Aroha, I'm glad you're happy to see me, but if you kept up all that wriggling around that you probably didn't notice you were doing, well, considering our current position, we would quickly be doing a lot more than you wanted out here in the open. Unless, of course, you like putting on a show. I gently thrust up to emphasize my point. Obviously, feeling the arousal she had been pretty much rubbing up against, she gasps and promptly jumps up. OMG, sorry, I was just so happy I didn't even realize what I was doing. Aroha says in a rush, clearly embarrassed. That's okay, love. I'm quite happy for you to continue bouncing up and down on Sebastian Jr. inside. I advance towards her and pick her up bridal style. Closing the door behind us, I can't help but hear her mutter, nothing that big should be called Junior. Now, that brings a triumphant smile to my face. Aroha's POV, I immediately jumped up off of him on the ground once I became aware of something very hard being thrust up. I can't believe I was wriggling around in his lap and didn't notice that face-palm moment right there, Aroha. I quickly rush out with the first words that pop into my head. OMG, sorry, I was just so happy I didn't even realize what I was doing. Really, Aroha? What a stupid thing to say. I can tell my cheeks are blushing bright red. That's okay, love. I'm quite happy for you to continue bouncing up and down on Sebastian Jr. inside. Sebastian responds without any hesitation and proceeds to come and pick me up bridal style and take me inside. Completely shocked, I couldn't even think of something to say. Finally snapping out of it, I couldn't help but think that anything that big should be called Junior. Wait, did I say that out loud? Sebastian didn't say anything and proceeded towards my room, so I guess I didn't, thank God. Upon entering my room, Sebastian places me in the middle of the bed and steps away from me, his eyes traveling up and down my body, taking it in. Slowly taking his clothes off and climbing on top of me, he starts trailing kisses up my neck before pausing to whisper in my ear. Well, Aroha, after such a memorable greeting, I think it's time I showed you just how much I missed you. Oh boy, did he show me all night long. Chapter 14 Aroha's POV. I wake up to the sun shining through my window. In an attempt to ignore it and get more sleep, I roll over to snuggle into Sebastian only to find his side of the bed empty. This is starting to feel like déjà vu. Nothing. His side is cold. He must have been up for a little while. Just as my anger starts to grow, I'm conjuring up multiple scenarios where I express my frustration with him for leaving me alone again, after just showing up and using me. I'm brought out of my plotting by the smell of bacon. Following the delicious scent to the kitchen, I'm gobsmacked to find Sebastian cooking multiple pans on the stove and nothing but his boxers. Okay, scratch the plan to be angry at him. Change that to thanking him later for the breakfast. So, are you just going to stand there all day ogling me, or are you going to join me for breakfast? I can go put clothes on if that's going to help you concentrate. Sebastian is highly amused, catching me off guard. No clothes needed. I'm sure I'd enjoy a nice view with breakfast. I reply, though in my head, I'm thinking of a different way to thank him. No problem, love, he casually responds while beginning to pull down his boxers. Hey. What do you think you're doing? Well, you said no clothes were required, so I took that as you would like me to take them off? Sebastian replies innocently. I obviously meant you don't need to put more clothes on. Not eat breakfast naked. We would never end up eating if that happened. I know, love. I just wanted to see the look on your face. And you didn't disappoint, he chuckles, walking over to join me at the kitchen island. God damn him for playing me like that. I can't believe how good a cook Sebastian is. I'm so full after stuffing myself silly that I don't think I'll need to eat till tomorrow. I think it's about time I address some of the concerns I have, the main one being that we haven't really gotten to know each other outside of the bedroom. So, how about we get to know more about each other, maybe a game of 20 questions? But we can just keep going for as long as we need, as I'm pretty sure I have more than 20. Sebastian seems to hesitate briefly but agrees. Sounds good. I'll join you in the lounge shortly once I've cleaned up in here. Then, we can play this game of yours. Making my way to the lounge to wait for him, I go over some of the things that I want to ask him, thinking it's best that I start with easy questions and then move on to the more personal ones after he feels a bit more comfortable, as I got the slight feeling he isn't too keen on 20 questions. Sebastian comes to cuddle me on the couch. Well, ask away. And I do just that. Before I knew it, it's been over an hour of us asking each other questions, from favorite colors to first pets. We've now moved on to embarrassing stories about ourselves. I've told him all about my family, but I can't help but notice that the whole time we have been talking, he hasn't once mentioned his own family. So, Sebastian, I've noticed that you haven't mentioned anything about your own family. Could you tell me about them? Sebastian's POV this 20-question game hadn't been as bad as I had thought it would be, and I found myself thoroughly enjoying hearing all about Aroha and the funny things she'd done. So far, we've managed to avoid any talk of my family, and I think I'm in the clear. I should have known better. So, Sebastian, I've noticed that you haven't mentioned anything about your own family. Could you tell me about them? The mention of my family sends me straight back to the memories of that horrific day. Blood-curdling screams wake me from my dreams. Disoriented, I stumble from my bed and through the house, till I reach the front yard. Nothing could have prepared me for what I found. The once pure white snow was now stained red with the blood of my family and friends. All around, I could see a member of my pack fighting with what I could only assume were rogues. From what I could see, we seemed to be severely outnumbered. I was brought out of my shock when a pair of arms hoisted me up and began running with me through the forest. I looked up to see my mother. She was bruised, heavily bleeding, and clearly struggling to continue running. The screams of my pack slowly began to fade away. As strong as she was, my mom wasn't invincible, and after barely 10 minutes of running, she collapsed. Looking at her now, blood staining the snow around her, she was in much worse shape than I first thought. She should be dead with the amount of damage she had sustained. Sebastian, you must continue running. We are not far from our neighbors' borders. I have alerted them already, and they are on their way to meet you. They will take you and hide you to make sure you're safe. Be but mom, no buts son. Those rogues have swarmed to eradicate all our bloodline from this earth. You are our only son, and we will live on in you. Now quickly go. They are coming. I'll try to hold them off as long as I can. I will always love you. And so I ran. After all these years, I still can't think of them without remembering all the pain and suffering I witnessed. That wasn't something any 10-year-old should have to see. I found out later it was all because my father was challenged to death by some lowly rogue, and his son couldn't accept that my father won fair and square. I was moved away after it was discovered he was still searching for me. I'm brought from my musings by Aroha shaking me gently. Sebastian, are you okay? You spaced out on me for a little while there. She looks at me, concerned. Yeah, I just need some air. I bolt from the couch and am out the front door in seconds. I don't even think about how fast I just moved in front of Aroha. I need to let off some steam before I lose control. This just reminded me exactly why Aroha isn't safe with me. Chapter 15, Sebastian's POV. I had to get out. I needed space. I felt the emotions in me rising. The anger, the hurt, and the pain consumed me until I struggled to breathe. After rushing out the door, I barely made it to the tree line before shifting. I ran, not paying attention to where I was going, as long as it was far away from Aroha's house, so she wouldn't hear the smackdown I was about to release on some poor, unsuspecting trees. With teeth and claws, I rip into the bark of the trees and tear off branches. When my anger finally starts to subside, I survey the damage around me. Looks like a big kitty cat used these poor trees as scratching posts, chuckles Trey. Trey, did you just call yourself a kitty cat? No, I'm sure I said big ferocious beast. Yes, that's it. Trey mumbles out. No, I'm sure you called yourself a big kitty cat, Trey. Let's never mention this again. Trey responds and instantly closes the link off. I can't help but laugh. God, I needed that. Can't wait to stir him up over this later on. I turn around and head back to Aroha's house. It's time to face the music. I'm not sure what I'm going to say to her. I suppose I would be asking too much to hope she just ignores everything that happened with me, just storms out of the house and disappears. But that's precisely what happened. When I walked through the door, Aroha was dishing up dinner and acting like nothing had happened. Sitting down at the table, I waited for her questions, but they never came. We shared a completely normal evening together, watching movies before heading to bed. The whole time, I'm left here wondering why she never asked why I ran out. Aroha's POV. I knew I had asked the wrong question the moment it left my lips. His body language said it all, and within seconds, he was up and out the door before I could even apologize. Well, this certainly wasn't how I saw the day going. I decided to make dinner in the hopes that he would be back later to join me. When he finally came back, I just continued on as we usually would and avoided bringing up what happened. He will tell me when he's ready. Sebastian's POV. After the day I stormed out, we fell into a comfortable routine. We would spend the days together while I would leave during the nights to complete patrols while Aroha slept. Some nights I would fall asleep and, for some reason, not wake up like I had been trained to do, so I would add in a daytime run to make up for it. Aroha, none the wiser to my disappearances. The days began to fly by, and before I knew it, a month had passed since I had been living with Aroha. It had been so peaceful, but of course, that was bound to change, and change it did with a mind link from the Alpha. Sebastian, I need you to investigate some rogue sightings. Approximate 1 hour run west of your location out in the neutral territory. I don't want you to make contact. If possible, trail them and find out what they're doing out this way. With what's going on at the moment, I want to make sure they're not involved with this rogue Alpha, Liam. Yes, Alpha, I'm on my way now. I'm on my way to the front door when Aroha comes out of the lounge. Aroha, love, I'm just going to see a friend who's visiting a couple of towns over. Probably grab a bit to eat and have a couple of drinks with him. I don't think I'll be back till late. Is that okay with you, babe? No problem. You've been spending much time here. I'm surprised you haven't wanted to get a break from me sooner. See you when you get back. Okay, awesome. I'll be back later. Aroha POV. Sebastian left about 30 minutes ago, and I was now busy cooking lunch. I was currently stirring some pasta and sauce, making sure it didn't burn. I'm surprised it took you this long to come out here. I was almost starting to think you had forgotten all about me. A deep chuckle sounds behind me, followed by the sound of the door shutting. The one thing I could never manage to do was to sneak up on you, Aroha. You always seemed to know I was there no matter how hard I tried. Oh, Kirk, I learnt your tricks a long time ago. Or should I call you Black? It seems that's all I hear you be called by these days. Does anyone actually know your real name anymore? Huh, like you would ever call me Alpha Black even if I commanded you to. You always had a habit of ignoring everything I said. Now, where's the fun in that? Got you? Keep you on your toes, big brother. And that you did. Now, I actually wanted to talk to you about something, Aroha. I don't know how to say this, but Kirk, if you're here to warn me about Sebastian, there's no need. I'm already well aware Sebastian didn't want me as a mate as he thought it was too dangerous. He's been wanting to reject me and trying to keep me at arm's length to protect me and keep me safe away from him. Which he's completely failed at, to be honest. I mean, he has been living here for a month. Oh, and in regards to that other big brother warning you were probably planning on giving me, you can probably already tell that it's a bit late for that. The displeased look on his face says it all. May I ask how you know? And in regards to that last part, I was going to completely ignore your mingled scent and pretend my little sister is completely innocent. But what I can't ignore is the third heartbeat I can hear in the room with us. I guess congratulations are in order. Let's just say that Sebastian hasn't been too good at keeping control of his tiger when he goes to sleep. So he may or may not be getting locked up so far back in his mind he thinks he's asleep, but doesn't realize his tigers are out. And yes, you heard correctly, so it's much too late for your big brothers warning you to stay away from boys. Sorry, Uncle Kirk. I smile at him innocently. Now, why am I not surprised? That tiger of his has always made sure he gets what he wants. Well, I guess if you had to end up with anyone, I'm glad it's Sebastian. He may still be haunted by his past, but he's a good man and is like a brother to me. I'm assuming he doesn't know about the child since the last time we spoke, he was still in that silly rejection phase. No, he's been so distracted that he hasn't noticed, and the heart has only been noticeable on and off during the last couple of days. Don't tell me you sent him on a wild goose chase just to come to talk to me now, did you? No, I needed him to go investigate some rogue sightings. It shouldn't take him too long as he stays out of trouble. There's also something else. The war is coming. We've been given the warning to expect the attack in 6 weeks' time, but knowing rogues, it could be any time between now and then, hence why I needed him to investigate the sightings. Kirk, you know I can help. No. I will not drag you into this unless it's the absolute last resort. I haven't kept you hidden all these years, so you could have some hope at a normal life to ruin that now. You won't have a choice. You know you can't stop me, brother. And with that hard truth, he leaves. Alpha Black's POV, I admire Aroha's faith in Sebastian, but I feel sorry for Sebastian once he realizes Aroha knows about everything and she opens a can of whoop-ass on him. He's not going to know what's hit him. God, that would be funny to watch. I can't believe she's all grown up. It was so hard to keep a straight face and be the protective older brother when I realized she was pregnant. I'm so ecstatic that I'll finally have more family than just Aroha. When she mentions helping with the war, I can't help but get angry. I've given up seeing the only family member I've left to ensure that she is safe. I've always hoped that if I hit her well enough, then she could have a normal life away from the pack, somewhere they would never find her. But of course, they see her. The rogues may not know who exactly she is yet, but it's only a matter of time before they figure it out. That's if they haven't already. I turn to leave when I hear her parting words. You won't have a choice. You know you can't stop me, brother. The truth hurts because I know no matter how much I tried, I wouldn't be able to stop her if she wanted to get involved. I'm no match for her. Not often an alpha will admit his little sister could mop the floor with him. Chapter 16, Sebastian's POV. I've been tracking out here in neutral territory for a couple of hours now without any evidence of rogue activity. I'm just about to turn around and head home when Trey speaks up. I feel like we need to keep going, Sebastian. Something's telling me that we will find something up ahead if we keep going. Your instincts are usually pretty spot on, Trey. I'll push on further for a bit longer and see what we find. I've been walking for barely 10 minutes when it hits me. It is a disgusting stench of what I assume my rubbish bin might smell like if I forgot to take it out for a couple of years. Looks like you were right, Trey. The stench of rogues here has got me almost gagging. I'm always right, Sebastian, and don't forget, I will be the one saying I told you so before this is over. Shutting off the mind link. I follow the putrid stench for another hour, going deeper into neutral territory far beyond anything I've ever been before. At first, the trail snaked back and forth through the trees, crossing over itself in an obvious attempt to confuse anyone trying to track them. I'll be honest, it almost worked, but eventually, the scent trail was heading in a nearly straight line. The rogues must have thought they covered their tracks well enough, and no one would have been able to follow them that far. Stupid rogues, never drop your guard and become complacent. So intent on following the rogues, I hadn't noticed how much time had passed until the sun began to set. Considering I left Aroha's house early this morning, I've been tracking for a long time. When I'm contemplating taking a short break, I hear voices up ahead. In the fading light, I can see what appears to be the flicker of flames up ahead. Maybe a campfire? I begin to circle around to approach from downwind so as not to give away my position. Edging closer to what appears to be a campsite, I see that there's an abundance of shrubs and bushes nearby. I silently duck into the undergrowth to better hide as I get as close to the ground as possible and crawl along. I reach the edge of a clearing and stay concealed within the bushes, my targets oblivious to my presence. Taking note of my surroundings, I see a large building on the other side of the clearing. It appears to be an old storage building, maybe abandoned by the old logging companies that used to work in this area. Now, it seems to be a base of operations for these rogues, as I can smell numerous rogues, both fresh and old. There is currently one rogue sitting outside by a fire. A guard, maybe? Their security is quite lax. I haven't seen anyone patrolling the area, perhaps because they think no one will find them this far out. The door to the storage building suddenly opens, allowing me to see numerous people walking around inside and talking until the door shuts behind the rogue, exiting, cutting off all noise again. The soundproofing on that building is pretty damn good. Yo, Alan, food up inside. I'm taking over from you for the next shift. I suggest you get in there before they eat it all on you. Yells the rogue who exited the building. About damn time, Ian, I've been starving out here, man. I can wait till all this shit is over and done with. Just think, man, in 3 days' time, we will have everything we need for the boss to make our pack unstoppable. No one will dare mess with us rogues ever again. Replies Alan. 3 days. What's happening in 3 days? I know, right? I can't believe that stupid pack actually thinks the boss would tell them exactly when we would be back to attack. I mean, who's that stupid to give warning? Replies Ian. Yeah, man, the scouts report they haven't even been training much. It's almost insulting. They're going to be in for a rude awakening when we attack in 3 days instead of another 6 weeks. Replies Alan, the attacks are going to take them by complete surprise. I'm going to enjoy annihilating this pack. I'm hoping that won't tell us where the girl is. It's so much more fun to torture it out of them. Replies Ian, and they both break out into laughter. I hate to be that girl when the boss gets his hands on her. He's been searching for her for so long. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes all his pent-up frustrations on her. Well, I'm going to head in before there's nothing left. Replies Alan. Yeah, see ya. Responds Ian. Shit, this isn't good. I've got to get back to the pack house now. Slowly edging back into the bushes, I silently go back the way I came. making sure I cross a few small rivers to break up my scent trail so that if any of those rogues happen to pick it up before it disappears, then they will struggle to track me back to the pack. I decide to mind link the Alpha. I've found rogues well out in neutral territory. I'm on my way back with important information. I suggest calling an immediate war council. I'd say it will take me a good 3 hours to return to ensure I'm not followed. Understood, Sebastian, we will be waiting for you in the meeting room upon your return. Watch your back. He responds. Well, it looks like I won't be returning to Aroha anytime soon, if at all, depending on this war. Chapter 17 Sebastian's POV after hours of detours and backtracking to ensure that my trail won't be followed. I finally made it back to the pack house well after midnight. Alpha, I'm back. I mind link. Good, I've already informed the others. We are waiting for you in the meeting room for an emergency war council. Black promptly responds. Making my way through the main pack house, I enter the room and all conversation ceases. I take my seat beside my Alpha as he begins the meeting. Now that everyone is here, we will proceed. Yesterday, I sent Sebastian out into neutral territory to investigate reports of rouges in the area. He has told me he has important information from this trip. I decided it was going to save us time if he shared it with all of us rather than calling multiple meetings. Beta, if you will. Thank you, Alpha. As our Alpha explained, I went in search of rogues yesterday. I had been searching for quite a while and was about to turn back when my tiger insisted that we keep going, that we would find something up ahead. He was right. I eventually came upon what seemed to be an abandoned storage building left over from a logging company, with a rogue outside guarding it. Murmurs pick up around the table at the mention of the rogue. I wait for them to die down and continue. Shortly after, a rouge exited the building to relieve the other from guard duty. When the door was open, I could see inside. The building wasn't abandoned. It was filled with rogues. I couldn't pick up any conversations due to the amount of noise being caused, but as soon as the door shut, no noise could be heard at all. That old building is soundproofed like there's no tomorrow. They need to have some serious resources to be able to do that. I watched the two rogues outside and overheard them talking about the war. Some of the others lean forward in their seats, hanging on every word, almost as if they know something important is coming. They are preparing to attack in 3 days' time. They are certain the element of surprise will work in their favor. They said they are looking for someone their Alpha wants. I won't say more in case Sebastian doesn't want the others to know about this mother of dire wolves yet. News of the impending attack causes intense chatter to pick up around the table. Questions and suggestions are all being said and asked at once. Everyone is trying to talk over each other, expressing their concerns. I swear the pack's kindergarten is less chaotic than this room most of the time. Black mind links me. I hear a heavy sigh as he gains back control of the room. Enough. He bellows. You act like a bunch of undisciplined children rather than the war-hardened adults you are. Now, let's discuss tactics and make a plan. It's already 2 a.m., and I'd like to get at least a few hours sleep. The room drops into complete silence as the others nod their heads in embarrassment. Happy with their silence, Black continues. Now, the rogues came to our western borders last time, but the encampment in the storage building is in the east. They cannot get around the north side of our border due to the cliffs on that side. It would take them weeks to maneuver their way through the rough terrain, so they can't be going around us that way if they are attacking in 3 days. Since they are currently camped east, I suggest we move the main portion of our army to the eastern borders and have scouts along the south and west borders, so if they try to sneak around behind us, the scouts will notify us so we can redeploy to the other borders. The remaining warriors will stay here to protect the rest of the pack that will be on lockdown here at the pack house. As we are not sure of attack time, we shall camp out the night before so we are ready for an attack at any time. Any objections? Searching around the table, everyone is shaking their heads, all happy with the Alpha plan. Good. Now, as your Alpha, it's been my responsibility to protect the pack, even if that means keeping things from you. Confused looks are shared around the table. I think I know where this is going. We were named the Dire Pack after the legends of our ancestors. Many believe these tales to be nothing but stories. I'm here to tell you that they are the truth. To keep it short and simple, dire wolves once ruled the world, entrusted to protect us on behalf of the moon's goodness, but they were corrupted by dark magic and started a great war to take over. The moon goddess stripped all dire wolves of their power as they were not worthy and had abused their job. She said that she would return dire wolves to the earth once more when the time was right. That one day, a female wolf would be born with dormant dire wolf genes, and she would give birth to what would be the first dire wolf in centuries. She would be called the Mother of Dires, and her children would be the firstborn. This is who the Rouges are here for. I have sworn to the moon goddess to protect them until they can take their place as protectors. The process of removing the dire wolf's powers took its toll on her, so she will not be able to do it a second time. This is why I must defeat the rogues. If they get what they want, that alpha will force the female to give him pups. He will then brainwash these pups and turn them into his own personal killing machines, so he can take over all shifters. Inform your warriors of this. It's time that knew what this fight will cost us if we lose. All that can be seen are stunned faces all around the table. But we all thought those stories were just made up, Alpha. No, they are completely true, and now we have been called upon to make sure that the dire wolves once again roam this earth like the goddess always intended. Any problem with this? The lead warrior speaks up. No, Alpha, on behalf of everyone here, we were just surprised to find this information was actually true when we always believed it to be just legends. I and all your warriors will gladly follow you and are honored to do the goddess bidding. Good, prepare your warriors and be ready to leave in 2 days. Meeting over. Stay, Sebastian. Black mind links me. He starts talking once everyone has left the room. I need you here to help with preparations. Will your mate be joining us? No, it's best she stays well away from this. That's if I even see her once this war is over. If that's your final decision. You need to be prepared for anything during this war. I suggest you expect the unexpected. Now go get some rest. Dismissed. Black says, Yes, Alpha. Tilting my head, I make my way towards my room here at the pack house. The whole time, I was wondering why I should expect the unexpected. Aroha's POV 3 days. 3 goddamn fucking days since he left to have a so-called drink with a friend. He could have at least made up a better excuse. I know it probably has something to do with this rogue problem Kirk mentioned, but I was hoping this would have forced Sebastian to come clean that he's a shifter. Maybe I should go rock up at the pack house? Hehe, I'm sure that would shock the crap out of him. Tempting. Or maybe. I'm suddenly interrupted by my scheming. Aroha, the war is beginning. My brother's mind links me. Fuck this. I'm not going to sit here at home while they're at war. I walk out my front door and start heading towards the Packlands. I'm not going to risk them dying trying to protect me, not when I can do something to keep them all safe. Chapter 18 Sebastian's POV. I haven't managed to get a wink of sleep for the last couple of days. With all the last-minute training and preparations for war, I just haven't had the time. Being beta means I need to make sacrifices for the good of the pack. Unfortunately, that meant I never got to go back and see Aroha again. Making it if I make it through this, I can find a way to keep her in my life and make things work. Maybe. I've finally got a couple of hours to myself. I get up and crack my back, trying to take a quick nap on this god-awful camping mat that has been hell. Unfortunately, beggars can't be choosers, and when you have over 100 warriors camping in the woods, it's a little hard to find the required amount of camping gear last minute. Maybe I should just sleep in my fur. Perhaps then I can finally have a quick nap. Shifting and settling on the floor, I finally get comfortable, and I start nodding off as I get mind-linked. Sebastian, the enemy is approaching and is currently 30 minutes out. I need you to gather the remaining warriors from camp and join me on the front line. Black orders. Yes, Alpha. Well, shit, there goes my flipping nap. Shifting back and pulling on some shorts, I leave my tent and start issuing the orders. All right, men, time to head out. We're leaving for the front in 5 minutes. Jump to it. Instantly, the camp comes to life. Warriors spilling from their tents, suddenly wide awake and alert. Barely 2 minutes later, and all are ready to leave. Okay, time to head out. You know your positions. Please take them as soon as we reach the front line. 15 minutes later, we arrived at our destination. Good timing, Sebastian. The enemy are taking their time getting here, so there's still 15 out. They don't seem to be in any rush. Black comments. Where's the scout's commander? Black bellows out. Immediately, a man came running from the trees. You called Alpha. He replies, I need you to send a message out to your scouts. I'm expecting someone else to arrive shortly who isn't a rogue. They are to be let through unhindered. Black informs him. How will we know who to let through, sir? The scout asks. Oh, don't worry, you will know. And your scouts wouldn't be able to stop them if they tried anyway. Black chuckles. With that, the scout commander runs off to organize his troops. Black prefers all scouts to report back to the commander. Then, the commander can prioritize the information and report to Black. He found having multiple scouts trying to link him to variations of the same information when he's trying to concentrate in battle very distracting. This way, he gets straight to the point updates without distracting him. I hope you are ready for this, Sebastian. They're here. Black says, stepping in front of his men. I step forward and take my place next to my alpha as the rogue alpha, Liam, leads his troops into the clearing. I see you've set up a welcoming committee just for me. I'm honored, I truly am. Now, if you just hand over the girl, we will be on our way with no harm to your pack, Liam greets us. I don't think so. You want her, you're going to have to go through us. Black snarls back. I was hoping you would say that. I've been looking forward to beating the alpha. All others are too afraid to challenge. Liam's smirk could only be described as something you'd expect from the clinically insane. It's then that I notice his eyes. They've got a tinge of red appearing around the pupil. Well, shit, he's turning feral. That explains a few things. I can see the alphas both edging forward, ready to start the fight, when suddenly Black straightens and takes a couple of steps back, glancing at Liam. He seems confused as to why he suddenly backed away. Stop. The voice issuing the command sounds vaguely familiar, but entirely out of place on the battlefield. It's not till I turn around that I'm left speechless as I lock eyes with the last person I ever expected to see here. Aroha. Aroha's POV, it didn't take me long to reach the battlefield. I knew that as soon as I made my presence known, there would be no going back from this. I could see Sebastian's utter shock when he locked eyes with me, deciding to keep up the charade a little longer. I kept up my innocent demeanor and shyly walked up to Kirk. You didn't have to come, Aroha. Always the protective big brother. Now, where would be the fun in that, brother? I chuckle. I see you've bought my prize. I knew you would come to your senses, Black. Maybe you're not as dumb as you look. Kirk snarls at the disrespect from this other alpha. And I hear you've bought a little bonus for me. Well, this definitely speeds things up for me. I don't even care if the bastard won't be mine. It doesn't make a difference to me in the end. Now, I'm snarling at Liam's attitude towards my unborn child. I glance across to my left to see Sebastian staring at my stomach with his mouth wide open and not blinking. If this weren't war, I'd be laughing at his face. It's a definite Kodak moment right there. I guess the cat is out of the bag. Oh well, I'll deal with him later. I think you have severely misread the situation here. I'm not here to surrender. I'm here to kill you. I state bluntly. Liam bursts out laughing. You plan to kill me. Pray to tell me how a little thing like you is even going to manage to put more than a scratch on me. He smugly replies. I instantly drop the innocent act and stand tall, letting my confidence show as I laugh evilly. Liam seems to hesitate at this. It seems to me you're not the smartest tool in the shed, Liam. You've obviously done a little miscalculation in regards to the prophecy. My response angers him. Don't insult my intelligence, girl. I've had my people working over that prophecy for years. Now is the time for the dire wolf to be reborn. And you're going to give me my army. Mother of Dire, he leans at my stomach, obviously imagining the pup I already have growing inside me and what they will become. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm not the mother of Dire. I smirk at his confused expression as it suddenly turns to one of fear as I release the power I've been holding in so now everyone can sense it. He finally works it out, mouthing a silent no as he begins to back away. I'm the firstborn. And with that, I shift. Chapter 19, Sebastian's POV. From the moment she walked out, I couldn't take my eyes off her. So many thoughts were running through my head that I couldn't think straight. What's she doing here? I need to get her out of here. How did she know where we were? What the hell is going on? I watch her approach Alpha Black and stand on his left-hand side while I remain on his right. I'm not sure I could move if I wanted to right now. I'm literally too stunned to move. I'm so busy staring at Aroha, trying to figure out why she is here, that I stop paying attention to what's going on around me. I'm barely aware of the exchange of words currently going on. To me, they come across as incoherent mumbling. I start to come to my senses as Aroha changes before my eyes. 1 minute, she's her usual shy, innocent self, then her posture changes, and she throws off an aura of complete confidence. Next thing I know, I'm knocked flat on my ass as an astronomical amount of power is released, more power than I've felt from anyone alpha. Struggling against the power to sit up, I notice everyone else in the same predicament as me. Searching the area, I find the only ones still standing are the 2 alphas and Aroha. How is she still standing? Maybe Alpha Black stopped her from falling. It's then that I come to the sudden realization that the power is coming from her. But how? She's human. No human could contain such power. It's impossible. I get a brief smell of Aroha's scent, finding it strange. It's slightly off from usual. It's got a slight wolf scent to it. It must be all the wolves around, confusing my nose. I'm about to stand up when I hear a ferocious growl. Whipping my head back in Aroha's direction, thinking she may be in danger, I'm just in time to see her clothes shred to pieces, and where once my darling mate stood is now a huge hulking beast of a wolf lunging for the alpha Liam. Well, shit. The words barely leave my mouth before everything turns to black, and I faint. Aroha's POV lunging for Liam, I see the fear in his eyes as he sees me charging towards him. Whether it be from courage or stupidity, he changes into a small mud-brown-colored wolf that barely meets my chest and meets me head-on. Does this little wimp really think he's any match for a dire wolf? My wolf, Amelia, hasn't had the opportunity to be out for a long time since we've been in hiding all these years, and I've needed to be careful when I shift. So, rather than just finishing off the alpha, I decided to prolong the fight, letting him almost get his teeth into me on a couple of occasions. I'm roused from my little game by Kirk. I know you were looking forward to shocking Sebastian, but you may have done a little too good of a job. Also, some assistance would be great. Not all of us are as invincible as you. His mind links me. I turn back to finish the alpha to find him gone. Damn it, where did he go? Searching the battlefield, there only seemed to be a couple of deaths on the rogue's side since we had barely been fighting for 5 minutes. This may just be the shortest battle in history at this rate. Both sides seem evenly matched. Well, apart from me, that is. I spot Liam now on the other side of the clearing, sneaking up on Kirk as he battles 2 wolves. He almost seems to be trying to keep them away from something. It's then that I realize Sebastian is lying on the ground behind him. Shit, maybe I shouldn't have just sprung my wolf on him. Kirk, behind you. I warn him as I'm already sprinting in his direction. Amelia, would you like the honors? I ask my wolf. It would be my pleasure to teach these pups a lesson. She responds with glee. I give her control, knowing she will enjoy this. I take a back seat as she barrels into the wolves, attempting to take down our brother. I watch her lock her jaws around a dirty brown wolf's neck and send him flying across the clearing, smashing into a tree with a sickening crack, his body falling lifeless to the ground. The other rogue quickly removes himself from the fight, leaving only the alphas and I locked in battle with a currently completely useless Sebastian lying close by. I move in front of him to make sure he's protected, my wolf slightly concerned that she can't contact Trey while he's passed out. All other wolves in the field have ceased fighting and are watching on. The rogues can clearly see their alpha is no match for a dire wolf, even if he's crazy enough to believe otherwise. Deciding enough is enough, Emilia pounces on Liam, using one paw on his neck to hold him down. I can feel her using her power to make him submit. Aroha, he started going feral, and it's too far advanced for me to get him to submit. Emilia links me. The sickening crunch of Emilia breaking his neck with her paw and crushing his airways can be heard loud and clear since the fighting had already stopped. Glancing around, I notice Sebastian is finally awake and sitting up. Shifting back into my human form, I address the remaining rogues. Your alpha is defeated. If you choose to continue the fight, I promise you will lose. I allow you to leave here with your lives intact to spread the word of what you have seen here today, that the time of the dire wolves is here, and that the dire wolf pack is not a pack you should mess with. Promptly, all rogues tuck their tails and bolt from the battlefield. Clearly, they were not as stupid as their alpha, thinking they could take on a dire wolf. Shouldn't we follow and kill them while they're on the run? I hear from one of our warriors. No need. If they are stupid enough to come back, I can deal with their whole pack if need be. Now gather the wounded and take them to the medical tents back at camp. I may not be their alpha, but no one hesitated in following my command. Taking inventory of the wounded, the worst injuries seem to be a few broken bones, nothing a couple of good days' rest won't fix. My concern for the others was satisfied, and I turned my attention to Sebastia and standing off to the side. I can see his nervousness as I slowly stalk towards him, a stern expression on my face. When I reach him, I stand before him with my hands on my hips. His eyes widened in shock at my next words. So, anything you want to tell me about some silly plan to reject me? Chapter 20 Aroha's POV. I could see him opening and closing his mouth, trying to form words. What? It was the extent of his vocabulary at the moment. I'm going to enjoy this. Well, since you seem to be lacking words at the moment, allow me to talk. First things first, obviously, I've known you were a shifter since we first met. I simply didn't say anything so I could see how long it took you to grow some balls and tell me. Oh, and tell Trey Amelia, and I have missed our little catch-ups while you've been these past few days. He tilts his head in confusion, having no idea what I'm talking about. Oh, didn't Trey tell you? When you've been at my place sleeping, he did that nifty little trick he pulled in the clearing of locking you up in the back of your mind and taking over to spend time with me. Since you were asleep when he did it, you didn't even realize what was happening and woke up as if you had been asleep the whole time. I smirk evilly. Wait, you knew? Why didn't you just say something? Finally, a sentence out of him. Now, where would have been the fun in that? I've been living alone for a year since my parents died, hiding away from the world. It's been quite boring and lonely, to be honest. Now, I know exactly why you wanted to reject me, and to be honest, I understand. You thought that by staying away from me, you would be keeping me safe from your past. I've done the exact same thing for years. I've stayed away from my only remaining family to keep them safe. Hiding away on my own in the hopes of my baggage not catching up with them, but in the end, it has anyway. If I could go back, I wouldn't have stayed away. I've spent years being lonely when I could have been enjoying my life. So, what's the point of you sabotaging your own happiness based on some what-ifs? I let this sink in before I continue. Now that you know what I am, there's no need to worry. You can stay at home doing all the housework, and I'll protect us. I try to keep a straight face while saying this, so he thinks I'm serious. He's now looking at me, horrified like I've grown 2 heads. I walk away and approach Kirk, who's been standing nearby listening, as have some other warriors who have lingered after the battle. Is there such thing as goldfish shifters? I ask him. What? I don't think so. And if there was, I think they would be too embarrassed to tell people what they were. Why? Well, since poor Sebastian over there has mainly just been opening and shutting his mouth like a stunned fish the whole time, I was starting to wonder if he was part fish. I giggle. Well, you might want to do something about your fish. Some of the female warriors are looking at him like they want to purchase him from the pet shop. Kirk replies smugly. Turning my attention, I can see Sebastian being eyed up by a group of 5 female warriors. One leaves the group to approach him. I guess it's time to mark my territory. I make my way towards Sebastian, intercepting the other female halfway, bumping her shoulder and knocking her over. Whoops, sorry I didn't see you there. I lie. The female is now on her ass in the dirt, sending me daggers. Reaching Sebastian, I make sure everyone can hear me clearly. I'd say this won't hurt, but I'd be lying. This is going to knock you on your ass, so come find me when you've woken up and decided to stop living in the past. So, just to make it clear, you are mine. As an afterthought, I look to the females and add, so go find your own mate. With that, I grab his shoulder and pull him close as I plunge my canines into his shoulder, marking him as mine. I can see him start to stumble as Kirk joins us. Are you going to catch him? He asks. Nope, he's a big boy. Another little fall won't kill him. I chuckle as I watch Sebastian pass out for the 2nd time today. And how long should I expect him to be out for? Kirk inquires. I'd say a couple of days at least. Not like anyone in the last 300 years has been marked by a dire wolf for us to ask. Once his body gets used to my mark, he should wake up and be perfectly fine. Well, I'm heading back home. Tell him I'm at my house when he wakes up. With a wave, I make my way home. This is the most fun I've had in a long time. Chapter 21, Sebastian's POV. I barely got the chance to process Aroha biting me before the darkness claimed me. I feel like I've been stuck in this darkness for days, walking around in an eternal night. I hope to the goddess I wake up soon. I don't want to be walking around in the dark forever. Well, at least my body doesn't seem to get tired in here. I suddenly notice a light up ahead and make my way towards it since it's the first thing other than black I've seen since being here. After what feels like hours of walking, I reach what seems to be a translucent barrier. On my side is darkness, while on the other, I see a variety of colors, but can't make out what's on the other side as everything is blurred together due to the barrier. What the hell? I might as well take a look. I slowly pass my hand through the barrier. Not finding any resistance or pain, I walk through the barrier, only to now find myself in a beautiful forest. I see a clearing up ahead with what looks like a fire. Making my way there, I find a large meadow with a lake at one end and a fire and rustic cabin just in front of me. I notice someone sitting by the fire facing away from me, their long blonde hair the only defining feature I can see. My child, I've been expecting you. I must say it took you longer than I thought. The voice is so soft that it sounds like a whisper. I can clearly tell it's female now. I'm sorry, but you are. I respond, confused about who this lady is, in what I assume is my mind. Yes, we are in your mind. I created this place just so we could chat. But where are my manners? You may call me goddess, and I'm here to give you a little help. She responds while standing and turning to face me. Gee, goddess. Oh crap, she's here to kill me for being an ass, isn't she? She chuckles, amused. I assure you, child, I'm not here to kill you. I'd have done it in a much more ingenious way if I'd intended to do that, and if I killed every one of you who acted like an ass, there would hardly be any of you left. Now, down to the matter at hand, I'd hoped it wouldn't take this long for you, but alas, males tend to be, shall we say, stubborn when it comes to what I have destined for them. Now, as you've probably already guessed, I know everything you're thinking, so I'm pleased to see that your time wandering has allowed you to think things over. So I assume you won't be living in the past anymore and taking advantage of all the gifts I offer you in life, such as your lovely mate. She raises an eyebrow at me questionably. Yes, I've finally let go of the fear I've felt since my family's murder and the guilt for not being able to save them. I've let it hold me back for so long that I've never really allowed myself to live my life. I want to be there to protect Aroha and our child. Though I think it may just be that Aroha allowed me to think I'm the one doing the protecting. To be honest, she doesn't need protection. Good. Exactly what I already knew. Now, before I send you back to your mate, there are a couple of things I need to give you first. I have sent more dire wolf spirits to hosts over the years. Aroha is the only born dire wolf. This is why she has known what she was the whole time. The other are spirits I've sent to those who were born with no wolf for this very reason. Their spirits are dormant inside them while they mature until they are ready to be awakened. Not even their host knows they are there. Unfortunately, due to this, some archaic packs have been mistreating them, believing them to be shiftless. Once your child is born, you will need to stand by Aroha to find the others. She pauses, allowing me to take it in. I nod for her to continue. Last off, I have a gift for you. Why would she have given me a gift? To help you out in your journey to find the other dyers, I'm going to give you some extra powers. To make it simple, you will have all the qualities of a dire wolf, except you will be a tiger, a very large tiger at that. Wait, will I be like some kind of dire tiger? I question this makes the goddess break out in hysterics. Oh, I haven't laughed like that in ages. No, child. Dire wolves are a completely different species from normal wolves. You would still be you, but now more of an overgrown cat. Now it's time you return to your mate. I think now you should be able to give her a run for her money. She chuckles. She waves at me as everything around me starts to glow. Wait, I need to ask, is there such a thing as fish shifters? I feel like an idiot asking, but I'm going to anyway. Technically, yes, I know of a group of shark shifters who especially like to swim around with their fins above the surface to scare tourists. In regards to the other question, no, there are no goldfish shifters. The glowing starts getting brighter until there is a blinding flash. The first thing I hear is a good, awful beeping sound. Attempting to turn off my alarm, I go to hit the bedside table only to realize there isn't one. That is when I noticed I was not in my house, but in the packed hospital hooked up to machines. I start to disconnect wires, sending the machines haywire. Promptly followed by multiple nurses rushing into the room. Once they see I'm awake and not dying, they promptly leave. Making my way out of my room, I rush down the halls and out the front door, only to run straight into the brick wall that was my alpha. Finally awake, I see. She did say it would be a few days before you came to. She said she will be at home waiting for you when you're ready. I give him a quick pat on the back and make my way towards Aroha's house. I take this opportunity to test some of my abilities. Attempting to run faster than what would usually be my top speed, I soon find myself flying through the trees. After a couple of near misses with some trees, I decided to slow it down a bit till I could hone in on these new abilities. Before I know it, I'm running up to Aroha's front door. Before I even get a chance to knock, she's opening it and pulling me into the house and saying, "What took you so long?" I don't waste any time in pushing her against the wall and plunging my canines into her neck, finally completing the half-finished bond that Trey started. Feeling the bond click into place, I finally feel at peace. Why the hell did I fight this for so long? So, what's next? I ask her to get ourselves prepared to find these other desires, but first to prepare for this one. She says as she places my hand on her stomach. The beating heart of my unborn child brings me joy I never thought I'd have after losing my family. I sense that she's made you stronger. I did know that was a huge possibility when I marked you, but I thought you should find that out on your own. She giggles. But that makes things so much better for you now. You want to know why? She motions for me to bend so she can reach my ear and whispers. Now, I don't have to worry about being gentle or hurting you. With that, she starts pulling me towards her room with a smirk on her face. Shit looks like things are about to step up a notch in the bedroom, and here I thought it was already as good as it could get. It's now that Trey finally decides to pop up. Sebastian, I've been waiting to say this for so long. Elle told you so. I know, buddy, and I couldn't be happier to say that I was wrong and you were right. This is our future right here with her and our pup. Epilogue. Sebastian's POV. The months passed by quickly, and before I knew it, I was rushing to the hospital after Aroha's mind linked me to say that our daughter was on her way. To say I was freaking out would be an understatement. I know the doctors have assured me many times that we are having a little girl, but I'm still holding out hope that they are wrong and we get a boy. I can only imagine the number of gray hairs I'll have with a girl. She won't be allowed to date till she's 18. Number 30, no, make that no boys ever. Yes, that sounds better. She can be happy and single forever. Then I won't have to worry about killing any guy who hurts my little girl. I rush into Aroha's hospital room to an obviously uncomfortable Aroha shaking her head at me. You left your link open again. Love, you will not be making our daughter stay single forever. I do want grandchildren one day when I'm older. And no buts. I reply with a disgruntled, yes, dear. 14 hours and 2 broken hands later, we welcomed little Annabella Rose into the world. I couldn't believe we made something so beautiful. It was love at first sight. Sitting here holding my little girl, I couldn't imagine a life without Annabella or her mother in it. Babe, what do you think she will be, dire wolf or tiger? I ask Aroha. I don't know, babe. I guess we will just have to wait till she shifts. Maybe since you didn't get the boy you wanted, she will be a tiger like you. She giggles. Hey, this is no laughing matter. I'm still not sold on this idea of her being allowed to date. Oh, stop moping. Smells like it might be time for you to change your first diaper, love. She tells me. I look at her, horrified. But, what? You afraid you're going to faint again like you did during the labor? She giggles. You're never going to let me live that down, are you? I cross my arms and sulk. Now, where would be the fun in that? It's amusing to see the big bad dire tiger fainting and afraid to change a dirty nappy. She is full on laughing now. She suddenly stops laughing as she gets a mind link. What's up, baby? It was the goddess. She's shown me who the first dire wolf we need to find is and where to find them. But we've only just had Annabella. She can't expect us to leave now. I ask, shocked. No, babe, she's shown me that they won't be ready for us to help them for a couple of years yet. She just wanted to make sure we were prepared. She replies, well, if we don't have to leave yet, then why do you look so glum? I ask, worried. I saw brief flashes and feelings of who we need to help. I can't help but feel they are currently being mistreated. The feeling of suffering I felt was intense. I just want to go help them now, but the goddess says that this is a part of their journey they need to endure for them to develop. I guess we will just have to trust her. She replies sadly. Don't worry, love. When the time comes, you will be there to help them. We both will. Until then, let's enjoy spoiling our little bundle of joy.